I was one of the Native American children, adopted at birth and removed from our country's Indian reservation system. I was raised in a small middle-class farming community, but was never told of my true American Indian heritage. It was still taboo back in those early days. The years passed, and in 1987 I lost both parents. While going through their personal belongings, my wife discovered my adoption papers and she began a search. 5 years later, I was reunited with my biological Lakota family living on the lower Brule Sioux Indian Reservation of South Dakota. I am a son of two mothers and a product of two worlds that had collided, but I have an equal amount of love and pride for both. I'm Paul LaRoche, and the stories you are about to see are an attempt to share this true American story of a hidden heritage. '93 was the beginning of a long and wonderful journey for the Summers family and the group Brulé. Just a year earlier, we celebrated Christmas in our hometown of Worthington, Minnesota. It was a Christmas like all the others with family, friends, food, and presents. But we could have never imagined what was waiting for us just 1 year later. I was reunited with my biological Lakota family on Thanksgiving Day, 1993. That was after 38 years of separation. Neither of us had known the other had existed all those years. Through a twist of fate and what seemed like a miracle, my wife had discovered a letter hidden for years in a dresser drawer. The letter contained information about my adoption, which eventually led to the homecoming on the lower Brule Sioux Indian Reservation of South Dakota. Following that Thanksgiving homecoming, we were invited to come back for Christmas, so we returned for our second visit. It was a joyful holiday celebration with our newly discovered family. A lot of people have asked me over the years what Christmas is like on an Indian reservation. Well, I was surprised at the many similarities to the Christmas that I had grown up with. There was a well-decorated Christmas tree in the living room, presents for everyone, and a great feast for the family members, many of which we met for the very first time. There was a heavy blanket of snow on the ground that December. The rolling hills were covered with a white layer of thick snow, and the huge expanse of the Missouri River off in the distance was covered with ice and snow as well. The countryside was very picturesque, and from atop the bluff near West Brule, the view almost took your breath away by the beauty of the surrounding landscape. The wildlife was more abundant than anything we had ever seen before. Our son Shane, the outdoorsman, was quick to notice all the ring-necked pheasants that flew up as we rounded the corners of the gravel road that led up to my brother's ranch. At one point, there were more pheasants than we could count, and I could tell that Shane was anxious to get out on a hunt as quick as possible. For entertainment, one of my cousins had the hood of an old pickup truck turned upside down, and they used it as a sled, which was pulled behind a tractor around the ranch grounds. Yeah, the kids had a blast with that. Later on that day, the young boys all got together and took Shane out on that much-anticipated pheasant hunt. They got their limit without ever leaving the ranch grounds. One of the things that still resonates in my heart was the Christmas Eve midnight Mass. The service was held in an old country chapel way out in the boonies of the reservation. A light snow fell on the way out to the church. There was a small congregation, but the service itself had music like the Christmas Mass I grew up with while attending Catholic church as a young boy. With one exception, At the close of the service, the elders sang some of the recognizable holiday hymns in their traditional Lakota dialect. It was so beautiful and made such an impact on me that before we left that weekend, I knew I was going to try to capture that new Christmas sound musically one day. My first recording session was in Albuquerque, New Mexico, at the Sound of America Records building in 1994. My debut recording was a CD called We the People. It was released in 1995, and it did pretty well for a first release. That was followed by 2 more recordings over the next 2 years. The CDs were called One Nation and Star People. By now, we had honed the Brulé sound, and it was time for the next recording project, one that I had been thinking about ever since that first Christmas on the reservation. The idea was to come up with a Native American Christmas CD. That sound had been bouncing around in my head for the past 4 years. The merging of recognizable Christmas melodies with Native American rhythms, sound, and dance. Culturally, the fusion hadn't happened yet, and I knew it was going to be a delicate process. I didn't want to exploit the culture by using an overdose of native sounds. The task was to create the sound that was in my head and keep it respectful to the culture. I would like to share some of that holiday music with you during this podcast. By the way, the first Brulé Christmas CD was called One Holy Night, followed several years later by a second release that we called Silent Star Night. The Brulé Christmas show, featuring this new crossover sound with Native American rhythms and dance, went on to become our most popular concert format of all time. For the first song, for the first track, I knew I needed an icebreaker, kind of an opening Christmas anthem. The melody line I chose was loosely based on the song Silent Night. But I had an alternate melody line that to me sounded like the version of Silent Night that I heard that first Christmas on the reservation. Here is the original recording of that first Brulé Christmas song, which we called The Miracle of Life. This next song was recorded on the second holiday CD called Silent Star Night. It's a Brule version of the holiday classic Away in a Manger. It features some vocals by our traditional drummer, who at the time was Moses Brings Plenty. He is also joined by friend and singer Christy Belt. It also features some nice nylon string acoustic guitar by Velasquez, and the lead melody, of course, is played by Nicole on the flute. We call this track Shelter from the Storm. So I think you get the idea of how we took standard holiday classic Christmas songs and infused a little bit of the Native American culture. Christmas songs have been performed in every kind of style and genre that anyone can imagine. But I think the Brule Christmas arrangements are unique and probably the only American Indian versions ever produced. I'm going to finish this episode with the rest of the songs from the Brule Holiday Collection CD. I hope you enjoy them over the holiday season. I'm Paul LaRoche, and this is Hidden Heritage.